So, biblical theology, that includes the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims, believe, very honestly, of course, that God has told them that there are two kinds of gods, if you like. The true God and a whole legion of false gods. So, worship then can be directed at two entities, either the true God or mistakenly thinking some entity is a true God, you worship false gods. So worship can be, in that sense, is only for God. So either you worship the true God or you worship the false God. Now this is what worship means. Now the problem is that when they come and see us doing puja, and we are taught it is worship, then we end up saying such silly things. For example, Ayuda Puja, what do? We worship bicycles. Really, how many Indians think that bicycle is God, for heaven's sake? My father is a god and mother is a god. Why? We do puja to them. Since when does anybody believe that mother is God? She's God-like, perhaps. Even God itself is another word. So it's not simply, see, the meaning of each of these words, they are a coherent, systematic whole first in theology, and that's how they've come into the natural language, whether it's English or Dutch or German or French. It makes no difference to us. So when people with this, especially the Europeans, with an extraordinarily, and I mean it, an extraordinary building of theology, they come to us, come to India, go to China, go to Japan, and they discover that these are the people who should have religion because God says that must be the case. Then very surely they're going to discover religions. But this problem, of course, is a bit delicate in the following sense. It became very acute in Europe only due to Reformation. Because what did Reformation do? Something unprecedented. It retold, it brought back into life the first opposition that Christianity faced, the Jews faced, in their milieu, namely that of fighting what they called or having conflicts with the heathen or the pagan religions of Rome, of Greece, wherever. Yeah. Okay. I don't have chest infection, I'm simply shouting, that's all. So when they come here and they see, and they, as I say, when the Europeans, so when they saw this, when they went to Rome, when they went to Greece, they saw these heathen and pagan religions. So they developed a certain kind of reaction, certain sets of attitude, and a certain theology. But as Christianity progressed, especially the Eastern Christianity, and later on Western Christianity, for a long period of time, the problem of heathen and pagan religions was more or less dead. I mean, if you read a book by Aquinas called Summa contra Gentiles, that is, tract against the Gentiles. Gentiles were basically non-Jews, which the Christians transformed into heathens. Well, then you see, if you read that book, you understand that Thomas von Aquino did not have a clue of what it means to speak about heathens or pagans. He has some vague idea of what they are. But it became a very actual problem in Europe when the Protestant Reformation did something unprecedented. It called Catholic Christianity itself into a pagan religion. The Pope was the Antichrist who was ruling over the gullible masses, and he was the man who deceived all the people, the good Christians, and the entire church hierarchy and the entire Catholicism had completely degenerated into a heathen religion. So heathendom and paganism become actual topics about which people would lose their lives. And it was around that time that the second contact of Europe with Asia begins. So Catholicism had to show that they were not the heathens, but the real heathens existed out there. So you find something very funny, which we have done. For example, before the acute Reformation, counter-Reformation debates began, the Catholic fathers, the Catholic priests who went to certain areas in Asia, in Africa, they came back saying that these people had no religion. It was accepted without a problem. 50 years later, same areas, and at least in 2 cases the same person, reports now that these people do have religion except they have pagan religion. Because now Catholicism had to show that it was not heathen in character and the real heathenism existed elsewhere. And therefore the whole debate that early Christianity had with the pagan authors and the heathens got revived and got replayed. So when therefore they come and they see us doing our acts, they have no other choice but to say that look, Indians, the Japanese, the Chinese, etc., they not only have a religion, they have false religion. And of course, slowly they discovered that false religion is not one, but many. Appropriately, as the Bible says, the legions of the devil are many. So they discovered many religions. And many forms of devil's practice. And of course, there can only be one true religion. You cannot have 500 true religions, can you? Not especially when this religion claims to be the truth about the cosmos, about human beings, about why we are here and where we are going. If there's only one true answer, then surely there can be but one true religion. And whatever is not true, by the logic, has to be false. Because truth and falsity, in a manner of speaking, divides up the linguistic universe into 2 complete and exhaustive partitions. No matter how many multi-valued logics we want, fundamentally, they're all based on the logic of true or false. So in that sense, the true religion has to confront the false religions. And that's how, and these false religions, of course, began to have a name. It is not true to say that the British did not see multiplicity of Hinduism. Oh, they did see it. That's not a problem at all. And there's some multiplicity in Buddhism. In fact, they are the ones who alerted us to the multiplicity. Read the Encyclopedia of Religion and Ethics of 1914 to look at the multiplicity they are talking about there. So it is untrue to say, as many post-colonials do, that they saw only Hinduism, we see Hinduisms. And you should not talk about Judaism, you must talk about Judaisms. This is all, of course, complete nonsense, because if you don't speak about Hinduism, you cannot speak of Hinduisms. One is a plural, the other is a singular. You need a singular to speak about a plural. It's a minimal linguistic fact. So, in this sense, Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, these are all, according to them, phenomena that exist in the world. Of course, religion doesn't exist. If by that one means that next to Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, there is also an entity called religion in the world, of course, but nobody has made that stupid claim either. The claim is that religion is a phenomenon in the world. For if it is not, there is no point in us talking about it. What are we having conferences about? And our question is, if that phenomena exists in the world, how does it look like? What are its properties? Why is Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism religions? Why not nationalism? Why not baseball? Answering this question is not a matter of definitions or conceptual clarifications. These are matters of developing scientific hypotheses and theories. Because only a theory can answer these questions, not a definition. Definition never solves a problem, it dissolves a problem.